Maybe that'll work.
Take 113.
Work. Oh, it's coming. I think I see it.
Take 57.
Oh, we're there.
No, we're not.
Yeah,
Is it
we are.
working?
Yep, it should be working. So, hey guys. Sorry about that. That was
excruciating.
Yeah, well, that's one way to look at it. But we're here now.
We are.
We're just 12 minutes late. What's 12 minutes among friends, right? So, welcome to the Prof Sales Show YouTube channel, and I'm Prof Sales.
And I'm Karin.
And we're a little bit later than normal, but hey, we're going to make lemonade now because here we are, right?
Because that's what we do.
Yes, so let us know if you can hear us okay. Sorry it took a moment for us to get live and up and running, but we will try to avoid any specific problems or technical difficulties going forward. Karin's going to blame me for it, so.
Yeah, it looks like this one.
Yeah, we may have another one still going, so if we do, sorry about that. I think I just canceled the chat for it, so.
Oh, did you? Well, that's not
okay,
good.
rookie. All right. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can hear us okay. Hopefully you can see us okay as well. And we're going to be off and running here. We got a few things to talk about today. We have a little different look you can see behind us, like on the background. We're using a different, what's called an encoder. And the encoder allows you to do some different things while you're on YouTube. Just, you know, things that are different than what the normal Hangouts does that YouTube allows. Because Hangouts does not allow you to do much.
No.
So we're going to be using this kind of format. We're going to do something else here in a moment too. Hopefully it should work just fine.
And we're really excited about it. If you guys, it was a little bumpy in the beginning. We've actually we thought that we were on for the last 10 minutes and have been engaged in a chat in another alternate universe. So now I think most of us are now back well on the same page, yes?
Yes, hopefully so. And again, our apologies for it not working better. Not really sure why it did or didn't. That was interesting. But we are off and running now. So this channel is all about reselling. It's about being an entrepreneur. And if nothing else, it's about mindset, figuring out better ways to do things, not just doing things, you know, faster or harder, just doing things better. And
always making lemonade. So away we go.
Exactly. So Karin and I like to go for walks every morning that we can. And how far do we walk today?
4.5 miles.
4.5 miles, which is a pretty good distance. And when we do that, we usually talk about topics for YouTube at some point during that, if it's a Monday or Wednesday or Friday, because we're on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And today we were talking about what topic we wanted to talk about. We had a few ideas. And we started talking about motivation. And I don't know how many of you guys out there have had, you know, say 9-to-5 jobs before, where you've worked, you know, sort of a more traditional job. And I'm guessing if you have, you've probably had a time during that job where you were kind of like, I'm not exactly motivated to do this job right now. And I started thinking about that. It's like, what motivates us to sell on eBay, to be in business for ourselves, anything like that? What motivates you, Karin?
The outcome.
The outcome. So Karin says the outcome motivates her. But here's what's interesting about that. You don't get the outcome sometimes if you don't have the motivation.
True.
Because you won't, but then the outcome can kind of motivate you back. And we're going to talk about that for a moment and you know, talk about, you know, why do you do this? Why do you want to be in business for yourself? How does like this cycle work? So I'm going to show you a graphic on the screen, and hopefully this is going to work. So let's see what it looks like. So we started talking about this idea of motivation, results, and productivity. And you can see here by this graphic we have on the screen that these things, I think, all go together. And let me tell you kind of what my thoughts are, and you guys can tell me. We have a live chat going during this show as well. You guys can tell me if you think the same, if you have a different take on it or what have you. And I'm absolutely open to different interpretations. But I would say this. So let's start with motivation, which is at the top. Motivation is in your head. It may be in your heart too, but it starts, somewhere inside of you. And here's the funny thing about motivation, Karin, and I find this the challenge for me. Motivation comes and goes.
It does.
I mean, how many of you guys out there watching right now stay motivated all the time? If you do, more power to you. Like, I want to know your secret, because I can tell you, for me, and I think for a lot of people, that it's very hard to stay motivated all the time to do whatever it is you're doing, whether it's eBay, whether it's your job, whatever it is you're trying to do. It's really hard to stay motivated, but for lots of reasons. But I think it's important to know that, the motivation comes and goes for eBay, for Amazon, for Etsy, for your job, whatever. And some people are saying they stay motivated all the time, 10% of the time. Nice. I see what you did there. Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. Like, motivation for me comes and goes. Some days I wake up, I'm very motivated, right? And then other days I wake up, I'm not so motivated. But most days I'm sort of in the middle, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't say I wake up any day and I'm like, it's very odd for me to wake up and I'm totally demotivated. But it's also odd for me to wake up and say, oh, man, I'm just going to go kill it 150% today, too. So motivation is a tricky one. But I would also remind you that motivation cannot be given to you. That's something I've really learned. You've got to find it within yourself. I can't motivate you. A billionaire's results can't motivate you. I mean, you may admire the results, but it's not going to really motivate you. What's going to motivate you is your own situation, whatever it is, whyever it is that you're doing this. You talked about the why, right? Mm-hmm. That's motivation. Why are you doing something? Why are you in business for yourself? Why are you selling eBay? Why do you have your job that you have? If you have a 9-to-5 job, why do you do it? And some of you guys were saying in the chat, you're saying, somebody was saying, well, it's for bills and paying bills. Yes and no. I mean, but you're doing a very specific job. You chose to do the one you're doing. Now, you might not like it, but you chose that one, and you're still continuing to choose that one until you choose to do something else. So it's not really bills per se. I mean, there's more to it than that, I think. But I think motivation can be something that can move you away from something or towards something. You can be demotivated and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Or you can be very motivated and say, I really want to do this a lot. I'm very interested in this, or I'm not interested in it at all. But I think motivation is the first part. But here's where it gets interesting, guys. And you see on the chart that motivation leads to productivity.
Indeed.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because I've had this debate already this morning.
Yes. We always have a debate over the subject, by the way. A little behind the scenes.
Can they see my boxing gloves?
Yes. But
that'll make for a great behind the scenes video. I'm going to bring a selfie stick with us, and we're going to make a pre-recorded video about how the subject comes to creation on the Prof Sales channel. Yeah,
it's interesting because here's the thing, guys. Your productivity, and this is the way I look at it, it's just your work. It's your labor. It's what you put, into it. You can have really sustained productivity, or it can be very sporadic, or your productivity can be very crucial to your results at certain times, and other times it can be kind of trivial. But productivity is just the work you put in. But here's the big aha moment for me, and I didn't find this out for many years until when I was working in other, traditional jobs, and it took me a while to come to terms with this. Productivity without motivation will drop off tremendously. One of my favorite movies is Office Space, and for those of you who've seen Office Space, it's a very funny movie, but there's a line in Office Space where they talk about, where Peter, when the lead character says, you know, that's just enough to make me keep doing this job, just enough to not get fired. And I think a lot of people go through their 8 to 5 or their normal jobs that way. You know, they do enough. But can most of us say we really go in and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to kill it today, every day? I mean, I don't think people do that. They go in and are like, I don't want to get fired, so I know I got to do X and Y and Z, and I might get to this thing over here, or I might do this a little better or worse, just depending on what's going on. And I think a lot of people are like that because they're not very motivated. And the reason they're not motivated is really this idea of results, which is the third bubble you see there. And results are what happen when we're productive.
Right.
You get a result. You go in, you produce some work, you get a result. Traditional mindset is, I give you my work, my time, my expertise. You give me a paycheck, benefits, so on. There's some sort of relationship like that. With eBay, for instance, it's more like, I take the time to go find items, find things, list them, photograph, whatever, mail them and ship them to you. You buy them, you give me your money for those in exchange for the fruits of my labor, basically, in finding the item. But your results, here's where I think it gets kind of interesting with this sort of circle. You notice how the arrows go, you know, one to the next. I think there's like a really symbiotic relationship here, Karin. Mm-hmm. Because I read this not too long ago, and it said, we tend to be motivated about things we're good at. And we're not very motivated with things that we're not very good at. Now, why is that? It's because of the results.
Right.
If you're really good at football, and let's say you're a running back and you're able to get a lot of yards per carry and score touchdowns and break tackles and all these things, and you're doing it at a high level, you're getting a lot of great results at whatever level you're at. Let's say it's high school football. You're very motivated usually to go in and practice. You're motivated to play. You're motivated to be in the football mindset because you think, I'm good at this. I'm getting good results. I'm motivated. Like, this is cool. It makes me feel good. Results make us feel good, right? When we get great results. But if we don't get really good results, we tend to be demotivated, which goes back into that mindset of, well, I'm not going to be very productive because it doesn't matter because I don't get good results anyway. And so it becomes this vicious cycle. And I think that, like, you know, understanding this about your business is really critical. And I don't know that I always understand it every single day. I feel like a lot of days I'm sort of like, all right, I'm going to go in, I'm going to go through the motions, I'm going to be productive, but just enough to get enough result, not a really good result. Just enough. And it's almost like I get into sometimes that I'm doing just enough to not get fired, quote unquote, mindset.
Well, and it's a balance. I mean, we talked about, it's funny, we should have named this the pyramid that is eBay. No, just kidding. And that triangle is actually more like a circle, right?
Right.
Because we talk about how it's balance. And you brought up you can motivate yourself or you can certainly demotivate yourself. So what happens when, parts of that get out of whack, right? Because we talked this morning about how what happens when your productivity, your method outruns your motivation so what happens when you're, doing too much? I mean, all of those things are related to each other. They're all dependent upon each other.
When you go and you list 100 items in a week and then you don't get any increase in sales results, what does it do to your motivation? What does it do? I mean, be honest, I think for most of us, it would demotivate us. We would think, man, I put in all this productivity and got no results. Therefore, I'm not as motivated to put in even more productivity this week or this month because I'm afraid I'll get bad results again. So I think that, you have to understand, guys, that, this cycle, this circle is always in flux. It's not really I'm just going to wake up every day and be super motivated and super productive and get super results. that isn't really what happens. I mean, I don't know anybody who can do that, you know, or gets that. And then there's times you don't put in a lot of productivity. But you get some decent results, and you're like, wow, what just happened there? Like, and maybe it's results based on previous productivity that you did in the past that are just now coming to fruition. But I think it's also important to note that if you think about this, I know we have it more like a triangle on the screen, but if you think about it more like a circle, and if it was a wheel, there would be certain parts of the wheel that would be thin and fragile and almost breaking at certain parts of this process because you weren't really nurturing that part of the wheel. And then there's other parts and other times that the wheel would be very, you know, fat and would be strong because you are nurturing, you are being productive, you are motivated, or you are getting results. So the wheel is almost never really perfectly round between these things. It's kind of got some wobble to it.
Wobble, wobble. And there's times when you overinflate said wheel, you know, and we you know, what happens when your results now outnumber your productivity and your motivation? Like, you've busted your butt,
right?
You've listed all the thingies, and now you've sold a whole lot of thingies, and you spend so much of your time and energy doing all that stuff, and now you're seated before this pile, and it's a good problem to have. So I know that everybody's going to be like, wait, what? But you know, what happens when your results are huge and you weren't prepared for those results? So now you have to reallocate your own time, treasure, talent to make sure that you process your results. Your what happened as a result of your get up and go motivation, your kick butt work ethic, and now you've got this big pile of things that you need to accomplish and come to fruition as a result of all of that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Karin. I mean, and you know, I was just thinking about the example of when you wake up, you know, some days and all of a sudden you'll have this weird outlier day and you'll have really great sales and you don't have any real reason why it happened. But it's very motivating because you think, man, I listed these things, you know, 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, and now all of a sudden a bunch of stuff sold and you don't really know why, but that can help your motivation. But what happens the next day when you don't have that big, huge sales day? Because you probably won't, you know, because it was an outlier. That's the definition of an outlier. Something that's unusual. It's not the norm. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, maybe I can, you know, get that result again if I do something today. Well, probably not. Like, it might be a totally different result. Mm-hmm. But I think this all speaks to this idea that, you know, reselling as a business or as a hobby, however you guys are doing it, this is a long-term game. This is not, if you get real high or low motivation on a given day, or you get super busy or super lazy productivity on a given day, or you have a super amount of sales or no sales on a given day, results, you can't really take too much from that because, you know, it's the sum total of all these. There's going to be days those things happen. Those things happen to anybody who does this for any period of time. And I think a lot of people in the reseller community, we get very caught up on, I was telling Karin, I said, one of the problems we have on our channel, one of the issues we have is we struggle to make content that some people want. Because I know there's a subset of people out there, maybe some are watching right now, and if that's so, it's okay. This is a good thing. But there's some people out there who just want tactics. They want, hey, how do I list this? What do I price this at? Should I do free shipping? It's very tactically oriented. But tactics are productivity. Mm-hmm. Those are tools of productivity. But if you're not motivated to be productive, if you can't find your why, and you're not getting any what with the results, you're not going to be productive. You're not going to want to do it. Like, and if you don't want to do it and you don't see the value in it, you're not going to do it. I mean, nobody is. That's just how we're all built. So I think it's important, guys, to keep in mind that, you know, this wheel that's always going between these three areas, and you could probably throw another area or two in there if you wanted, is really important to think about. Each of them is in an individual area, but you're not going to be evenly spaced between all three of them. There's going to be times you're going to feel really motivated and times you're not. There's going to be times you're going to be really super productive and times you're not. And there's going to be times you get great results and times you don't. But don't get too high or low on any individual day or any individual feeling, because that will kind of skew your whole experience in a way that's really not realistic. We're going to say something. I'm sorry.
I concur.
You concur. So, all right. But, yeah. So, all right. I hope that kind of made sense, guys. I know it was a little more lofty, in the air sort of stuff there, but I think it's important to think about, because, we get so caught up in the day-to-day grind, list, source, photo. And you got to think about sometimes, all right, where is this all coming from? What am I doing this for? How do I feel about it? What can I do to, sort of figure out a better way to build this mousetrap? So, anyway.
I meant to bring my pom-poms, but
Why are we going to bring your pom-poms?
Because it's Motivational Day.
Oh, yeah.
I would say Motivational Monday, but just because we're recording this on a Monday doesn't mean whenever said viewer is watching, it's going to be a Monday, right?
That's very true. It is a Monday, but you may be watching this any of the other 6 days of the week.
All right, so may I sum it up for everyone?
Yes.
Because I, too, have a soapbox.
Give us the car intake.
This is the car intake, and I'm actually I got to stop looking at the iPad because it kind of looks like I'm not looking at the camera. But this part of the show we're going to call "How to Stay Self-Motivated" by Karin Handy, or "Stay Focused."
Jack Handy. Oh, that's a Saturday Night Live reference.
An old one, perhaps.
Probably get a copyright violation.
How to stay focused and extra sparkly every day. Okay? So when you get up in the morning, you need to choose how you start your day. And we've said this before, but consider not reaching for the phone and checking Facebook, the news headlines, Instagram, your email, your work email, if you have another job especially. I get it, you're curious or you need to stay up to date or whatever, but I'm going to challenge you that what you're doing is the first conscious moments of your day, you are allowing other people to decide how your day is going to start. And you're kidding yourselves if you don't believe that it's going to have an impact on the rest of your day. It just does.
It will.
And probably TMI for you guys, but we don't watch the news anymore. I guess just this year for that very reason. Well, there's other reasons, but we just don't. We don't key into certain things because of how it affects everything else. It doesn't mean we don't stay up to date. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But number one, start your day the right way, the way you decide it should start, not somebody else. For me, I read a Bible plan every day, or I read something motivational, or I get up and I stretch, or there's any number of things that you can do, but you dictate what is done, how it's done, and how your day starts. And I guarantee it will make a difference in your day. This one's a bit of a stretch when I say to be frugal with how you invest yourself in yourself. Just think about that for a second. How do you spend your time? And are you always spending it wisely? At work, you can probably tell the stat or whatever, but there's a statistic that says if you work an 8-hour day, employers are really only expecting about X numbers of productivity out of you hours in the day, right?
Yeah.
And there's all kind of studies about how people, their attention gets diverted here, or how many times they're going on social media, or they're walking to the water cooler or whatever. So you choose how you're going, because again, you're kidding yourself if you don't buy into everything that you're doing that is taking you away from being productive and realizing the completion of that triangle there. Everything that you're doing is having an impact on you. So let's say you get distracted by Candy Crush, or you get
Candy Crush.
Well, it's just an example. I don't have it anymore, nor do I have any games on my iPad at all anymore. because I found that it's a distraction, just like social media. Like you can get on Facebook. I use it primarily for keeping in touch with my family. I have a grandmother that uses Facebook, and I think it's the coolest thing. So for me, my personal account is primarily so I can talk to her. And we've got some other groups that we do, but that's about my capacity, right? But if you're allowing yourself to get distracted by all of these other things, it's having an impact, whether it's having an impact on your job or your eBay sales or whatever. So when you're taking the time to invest in you for whatever period of time or whatever that thing is, be specific about that and be picky. Like discern how you're going to allocate your funding of yourself. And I think that too will make a difference. Eat, drink, and be merry. And all I mean by that is, remember what you put into your body has an impact on what comes out. So, Jason is drinking his water, and you have to eat well, and we can talk about Whole30 and all that healthy stuff another time, but I think that that's going to have an impact on you as well. Mix it up, change your scenery. We talk about walking. We walk every day for about 3 to 5 miles every day, but it's more than that. So you're killing yourself if you're sitting at your computer for hours at a time. It's a great lie we tell ourselves that I do better when I sit there for 8 hours at a time and just focus. Yeah, no, you really don't. You need to get up. You need to walk around. And for people that struggle with, just even attention, like you get bogged down, like if listing for more than 30 minutes or 60 minutes, it's going to get to you. So do something else, go walk around, get a few steps, get a drink of water, or, go do something to your inventory or take photos or, diversify your time just like you diversify your efforts, your income streams, etc. And I can't tell you enough about walking. It's very important to keeping healthy. You didn't think I was going all these places
I didn't
today,
know.
did you?
She didn't tell me.
I just said I need about 2 hours to make a couple of points here relevant to today's discussion.
All right. Wow.
So here's the thing, folks. Excuses are always going to be there. Opportunities are not.
Very true.
And I'm not going to drop the mic just yet. But when you stop making excuses for yourself, that's when you start seeing results. And the only person that knows if you're lying to yourself, if you're being all that you can be, is you.
Yep.
I mean, we paint this beautiful public picture about what we're doing or how we're doing it or what results we're getting, but only you know. And if you're being honest with yourself and you're just stopping with the nonsense and the excuses and just doing your best, and I say this to my son all the time, and I think it's starting to sink in, but just do your best. Be honest with yourself. Stop the excuses game and just move forward. And I think that's the way to do it. We talked about, all this sounds great and everything, but nobody can be motivated all the time.
Nope.
And motivation, self-motivation in particular, it's hard. I get it. It takes
Very
discipline.
hard.
And as grown-ups, you'll hear me talk all the time about how it's like I'm a little kid. Like, I don't know about this discipline thing. I don't know about holding myself accountable or creating my own boundaries and restrictions that I have to do X, Y, and Z within, 1, 2, 3 or whatever. But it can be done. And the light at the end of my very verbose tunnel here is that you will see results. And there's just a few little tweaks that you have to make to see those results. And here's the thing. So if you're able to believe in Santa Claus, a man dressed in red that comes down your chimney for the first 8 years of your life, then why on earth can't you believe in yourself for 5 minutes?
Oh, that's a good point.
Okay, that's it.
Just getting a little emotional over here. There's one thing I was thinking about when you were talking about all that, really. And, people were, I was reading some of the comments. We say some of the same things in this channel over and over, but part of the reason we do this channel and we come on is for ourselves, to be completely honest. I mean, it's good sometimes to say these things out loud and remind ourselves, and you happen to be the audience as well, but I think that's important sometimes, and being able to say something to someone else that you are trying to live up to and you're trying to do, that's a great way to reinforce it in your own brain. So, so it is partly for that too. But I hope that you guys, kind of take from that just, this idea that you can find this motivation within you. You can own your own productivity, and you can let results be what they are, and not have the wheel break. Because the one thing we didn't put on the little diagram earlier was you're in the middle of all that. You're in the middle of the productivity, the motivation, and the results triangle, wheel, however you want to imagine it. You are the hub. Those are the outer edge, and every day is like a spoke that goes out to that tire on the outer edge, and trying to keep that wheel turning. But it's up to you in the middle. So the wheel's only as strong as the hub in the middle. So just always remember that, and just kind of keep it in the back of your head that you can make that wheel as strong as you want it to be. So anyway, preaching to the choir, I know, right? So I hope you guys, appreciated that message. We always try to think about it on a different level than just the tactics and strategies, even though that's important too. Don't get me wrong. But, and we're glad you guys joined us today. We're playing around with some of this technology and what the look is going to be like. So some people were saying on their phones it was a little bit tougher to see and so on. But
we're probably very tiny.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Oh, somebody's talking about my shirt. It's not it's a polo. Come on now. Got the little horse right there.
Orange is the new black.
Orange is the new black. Wow, I see what you did there. Yeah, but if you guys are appreciating the content and so on, hit the like button or check out the links below. We'll have, I don't know if they'll be up on this video right away. I'm not sure how this is going to post.
We don't even know if it will post.
Hopefully it'll work. But if it doesn't, then we'll do something different. And we'll play around with the background and so on. We're trying to do some things that can allow us to deliver a little bit different content in a different way. We normally, when we show you something, we show you full screen. So like we completely go away and just that's there. But sometimes that doesn't really make sense given on what it is. So we're trying to figure that out a little differently. But any feedback you have on the displays and so on, sure, let me know. We're not married to this particular output, this particular display, right?
There you go, talking about being married again. I believe you have my stapler.
What are you talking about?
Office Space reference.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't get that one out.
Hank said it earlier. My stapler.
All right. Well, so what else we got?
Did we do questions? Did we do anything? I mean, I'm just lost today. It's all kerflumped.
Yeah, this is yeah, and we were talking about that. Like, we're kind of we're almost to fourth quarter. We're just a couple weeks away, really, any way you want to look at it. And I find in our case that, we're kind of trying to figure out exactly how to increase our productivity the best we can, which hopefully will give us better results, which will increase even our motivation even higher. But I'm curious what everybody else is doing out there in terms of fourth quarter. I know the tactics and so on, like, oh, I'm going to buy more stuff and list more stuff. But kind of what's your overall thought process? Are you going deeper in what you're already listing? Are you, branching out into different niches and so on? Are you trying out a different platform? Are you trying different strategies with, say eBay, for instance, and with sales or promoted listings and so on? And I'm curious what the results will be for people, because you kind of don't really know how the fourth quarter shakes out until it's all over. And then it's a little too late to do anything about it because you've done it. You've implemented your strategy and so on. And then you get the results you get. But I think that, we're still kind of figuring all that out a little bit. We are niched pretty far down to just jeans and shoes for the most point. But, that could change. So someone said they've been listing double for the last 2 months. Oh, that's cool. Adams asked, how are shoe sales? Our shoe sales have been the same from day one. We started this in March, And I don't think we're selling through any higher percentage than we did since then. And it's not a huge percentage. It's about half of what jeans sell through, actually.
What is it, like a pair a day? Ish.
Yeah, maybe a little more. Maybe a little more than that on average, but not a huge number. And I don't know. Again, and I've actually talked to Tino and some other people who sell shoes offline and asked them, their feel, and it sounds like it's about right with what we have and so on. So shoe sales have been just sort of. I don't know if they've been average, but I wouldn't say they've been great results, which affects my motivation on them, honestly. There we go back to that triangle again, right?
Well, and we're not sourcing. I mean, we have some piles, we have some things. And what's interesting for us going into fourth quarter is we knew what needed to be done, right?
Right.
But then we have all these new things that we're working on. So we've got all of these. We're kind of in the middle of a lot of things all at the same time.
Good gracious.
And it's motivating and it's demotivating all at the same time. So we're going to have to really, and we talking about that, having a little meeting after the show in how we can be better with that. Because we've got some things that we need to finish. And some of those things, we can't even start other things until they're finished. So it's all sort of affecting, like everything is affecting everything. It's that wheel. So
Right. DJ says, debating on staying with charging shipping separately or doing free shipping. We've moved to a lot of free. On shoes, though, we have not, because it's so tricky on shoes. They're heavy. And free shipping would be really, I'd have to price it pretty high on some shoes, because some shoes push 3 pounds or even more, and to ship those across the country is really expensive. But so we are not doing that on shoes, but on everything, a lot of other things, we are doing a lot of free shipping.
And hey, Marilyn, as far as the stressful roller coaster of reselling, just send us a message, and we can talk more about that offline.
Yeah.
Because I hate to let something like that go and not address it, but we're kind of time-wise. So.
Yeah, Not So Perfectly Me says, I haven't relisted about 2 weeks and have about 200 unsold. Would you relist them all today or spread it out over the next 2 to 3 days? That's a great question. If you're not going to be listing anything else, I would probably spread them out just to kind of quote-unquote prime that eBay algorithm for having new items every day that you can. If you're going to be listing over the next several days, then just go ahead and relist them all at once. Maybe change some prices around so it sort of re-indexes the listing, sees it a little differently, might push it up in a search again. Those are some things to try, maybe to get them to sell. That's things that we've been doing, and it has some success. I mean, I don't know if there's a magic bullet for that, a magic formula, but just some things you might want to try. Let's see what other questions we got here.
Always the free shipping questions.
If you offer free shipping and get a return, it can be very costly. Yeah, I mean, because you're eating a shipping charge. I mean, you're going to price shipping into your price at the beginning, so that covers your initial shipping. But when they ship it back to you, you're giving them a full refund, and then you've already ate that shipping cost, so you don't get that back basically because you had to pay that to ship it to them. So I don't know what to tell you on that. I mean, I know eBay is moving in that direction for sellers to offer free shipping to people. I know a lot of people are not happy about that, but I also think that, you can price that into your business model and sort of mitigate that a little bit so it's not maybe the deal breaker you think. You just got to be smart about it and price it into your model. Ed does restocking charge 10% on the case of returns with shoes. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Ed. I can do free shipping on the ones that'll fit like a padded flat rate if they're really small, or something like that. And doing a restocking fee, I'm curious though, Ed, have you had any pushback on that from people? I've put it on some of my listings, but not all of them. And there was one where I could have charged it, but I did not because the person returned it very quickly. But I've always been curious what the buyer's feedback has been on paying that restocking charge, and was there any pushback on it? I mean, I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just curious what your take is on it. Cassini, wish I could figure her out. Yeah.
Kissing blankety blankety blank.
I know, right?
Well, and with the bigger shoes, like we don't do free shipping unless like you said, they'll fit in a padded flat rate. Because that's easy, but if it's a big old pair of cowboy boots or Doc Martens or something,
right, that's different.
Yeah.
Darlene says, I've always had most of my sales from California. In the past 5 days, none. What do you think? I would say, Darlene, that's just a natural variation. I mean, California is the most populated state, in the United States. You should, all things being equal, over a long period of time, get the most sales there, technically. But I don't think I would read too much into it at this point. I mean, numbers can skew a certain way for a long time and be perfectly normal, and that be perfectly statistically likely. You'll get these weird variations, and so I wouldn't put too much stock in it right now. I would just, chalk it off to just randomness and not worry about it.
DJ.
What's DJ's question?
About best offer. When you have an amount that you want set automatically on how long you're listing.
That's another thing.
On how low from your listing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want you to be stressed, DJ.
Yeah, it's stressing DJ out. Best offer. Do you have an amount you want set automatically or how low? I have started, DJ, putting a automatic decline number, but not an automatic accept, because I think there are some people out there who love the idea of haggling. And if you put an automatic accept and an automatic decline number, you could make that the same number actually, or like a penny different even if you wanted. You could say, all right, decline any offer below $18 and accept any offer $18.01 and up. And so that way, if they do that, but I don't know. There's some people who just like the thrill of the haggle, I think. And I don't mind it as long as it's, I'm not going to go crazy on it. If somebody offers me a really lowball offer, I usually don't even counter offer. I will just auto decline and see if they come back with another offer, which then tells me, all right, they really are interested in this. And then we can talk about it. But you can do it that way and take a lot of a stress off of your plate, because you can just set an auto accept and an auto decline price.
That's a whole nother show, right? The nuances of best offer.
Yeah, because it's psychology, right?
Yep, and and it's a little poker playing, which goes with the psychology. But
right.
I've found that everybody, this is another one of those things, everybody has a different way to do it. Some people sort of dance the dance, play the game. Some people are just, that's it, no. Some, it's like everybody's different. Some people will come back and actually go into a big explanation of why they can't possibly accept your lowball offer. And don't you know that this is what goes into this, and I have to pay fees, and everybody does it different.
Yeah, I've played around with it. I don't know for a fact, maybe somebody in the chat does, but I don't think that auto accept or decline and best offer, I wouldn't think that would have any impact on your listing's visibility or sell-through or anything like that. So it's really just your personal preference for what you want to do with it and how automated you want to make it. Because you can, as some other people are saying, they automate it. They set an auto accept, auto decline price that are very close, and then they're done. They don't have to worry about it.
And you did it to streamline and get less emails.
Yeah, because you're going to get that, message that they've made an offer, and then you have to respond to it. I mean, you don't have to, but you should. I don't know. It just becomes a hassle sometimes to have to do that. So sometimes it's sort of nice to have an auto accept decline price there. A lot of people do that. But it's really your personal preference. I mean, sometimes it's cool to have a conversation with somebody over it. And sometimes people will write a weird best offer in there. Like I've had, a couple that have said, well, I'll do this price, but with free shipping. Like on shoes, and I'm like, I can't really do that. So then there can be a conversation. Whereas if you have an auto accept, auto decline rule, they're never going to make that offer because they can't. Let's say that your price is $20 plus shipping, and they want to do $20 free shipping. They can't put in there $20 because it will auto accept if you have your rules set up that way. So they have to send you a message and say, hey, can we do this? And you're still probably not going to do that in that situation, but those people have a little bit of a thing too. Yeah, and Skip says auto accept does not trigger if they put anything in the terms section. Yeah, but I've heard as well, Skip, that you cannot override certain, and maybe that's changed. You cannot override, like if you're charging shipping and they want to say, hey, this but with free shipping, and you accept, like, and it's within, you accept the offer, it's still going to charge shipping. If that's part of your listings thing, which then you got to refund them, which is a pain in the butt. I don't know. Maybe that's changed. I don't know the answer to that. If it has, somebody in the chat or later can say so. But and I don't really run into it that often. It's every once in a while.
Not a question, but somebody, I don't even know how to say that. But whenever you're in the area, we'd love to meet other resellers. So don't you dare come on this channel and say, I was in your neck of the woods and then I didn't see you, but I wanted to. Send us a message. We love to get out and meet people and show them all the wonderful things that there are to see here too. So keep that in mind.
All right, guys. Well, listen, that's going to do it for today. So check back at the beginning of the video once we get rid of our technical difficulties and see where you are with your motivation, productivity, and results.
Yeah. Only you can motivate you.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. So I am Prof. Sam.
And I'm Karen saying good sales to you.